Reverend Tommy, a short story by Jared I. McGee. From 0 to 6, Tommy was like any other kid in the great US of A. He played outside, frolicked in the grand freedom of, well, freedom. At 4, Tommy had his best friend move in across the street from him. His best friend was named Jason McNeil, and Jason's daddy was Brother McNeil from the First Baptist Church, and Jason's mommy played piano on Sundays, but was the 5th grade teacher. At school, she was Mrs. McNeil. At Jason's house, she was Mrs. Gloria. At 5, Tommy started school. So did Jason. They were in different kindergarten classes. That was the worst. Tommy got paddled a couple of times. Jason never did. He was a good boy, apparently. At 6, Tommy was brokenhearted to hear that Jason and he were still in different classes. Jason got Mrs. Nomar, the best first-grade teacher at school. Tommy got Mrs. Fearn, the worst first-grade teacher. From 6 to 16, Tommy was in and out of trouble, losing interest in academics where he was once pretty proficient, actually. Instead, he began focusing more on sports. He was great at sports. He became the star of both the football and the basketball teams. With stardom, less was expected of him in the classroom, and more was expected of him from the ladies. Tommy started with all the girls he could get his hands on. Well, that was after Jason moved away in 6th grade. Jason's daddy took a new church job that made them move. For 7 years, they dated the same twins, often trading them and having them trade Jason and him too, as if they were all in a big deck of trading cards or something. Jane and Jessie were great girls. His friendships with them disintegrated as soon as Jason was gone, all of a week. The girls he became interested in were not the type he and Jason would have been friends with in their heyday. By 18, Tommy drank a lot, smoked pot every day, and tried everything he could get his hands on, from crystal to heroin to coke to X to, well, yeah, everything. Literally anything that he could get his hands on. He went to a small community college after graduation. He failed out there. They did not have basketball or football teams. He was still in shape, cool, and good-looking, though, so he at least continued to have his fill of women. By 21, Tommy had a reputation. He'd left town and come back 4 times now, all of his jobs and educational opportunities always falling apart. He fucked and snorted and smoked his way around town, sticking with the 16 to 18-year-olds. He was finding that girls his age weren't as impressed with him as they used to be. At 25, he had a heart attack and had been arrested 4 times. The latter was no problem. Football stardom made all that disappear, 'cause, hell, his old teammates were now the sheriff and his troopers. The former was a problem. Supposedly he died 6 times on the way to the hospital. They stabilized him, but his days of drug-filled orgies and orgasms needed to be behind him, or so the doctor said. At 27, he enrolled in a Bible college about 6 hours' drive away from his mama's house. There, he reinvented himself, becoming a Pentecostal minister. He became Reverend Tommy. He still married a gorgeous woman who looked to have a good time. Their good times and less than holy predilections would be kept their secret, confined to their bedroom's walls. But, short of this one last nod to the old Tommy, he seemed to have abandoned his old self those 6 hours away. Though, That slick nature, massive smile, and disarming way about him had been there since he was knee-high to a grasshopper, to be sure, and it was going nowhere. Now, he speaks in tongues every Sunday, twice a day on cue. Now, he dresses parishioners in white robes and dunks them under the water, studiously not looking at the tits of the sexier ones. And there are so many admiring young women in Reverend Tommy's congregation. Now, he posts pictures of his perfect family online. Now, he only reads the Bible. All other books are just a distraction. Hell, all other forms of entertainment are a distraction. Football, basketball, fishing, mudding. That all had to be purged too. Now, he talks of demons more than dates. Now, he addresses angels more than amazing anatomy. Now, he only allows the famed aggression that once made him a minor deity on the football field and the basketball court to come out in bursts, decrying Satan and his hordes that are ever present and always gnawing at the faithful. Now, he is Reverend Tommy, the man who is a shepherd of a massive flock, the man who is the king of his domestic domain, the man who forgot all about Jason, the love of learning, and how to be more than a singularity. Praise be to God. Thank you for listening to Reverend Tommy. The tracks behind this story were taken from the Free Music Archive. Both tracks are from Dr. Turtle, from the album The Double Down Two-Step. The first is Lullaby for Democracy, and the second is My Little One-Trick Pony. The tracks are being used under Creative Attribution Non-Commercial 4.0 international licenses. Please do check Dr. Turtle out. The music is simply fantastic. Now, please stick around for our final story for this week, Scorched by Nicholas B. Morris.